it's kind of like this cycle of cultural ritual and tradition and how it feeds itself, right? It's that way in the organization. It's that way in the frat sororities. It's that way in the ATRs. And so what I was kind of thinking about was how the ritual process online kind of puts you in this position of like the Orisa on the hero's journey. And so your process is like living the pataki, the experiences that you have going through whatever challenges, whether real, imagined, manufactured, or organic. There's this thing that has you with this hero's journey. I hate to Hellenize it, but this idea of there are some things that are expected, some things that are not. You come across this thing that's a challenge now, and how it transforms you, supposed to transform you when you get to the other side. And now what's your perspective? So it should be different than when you came through the door. The same thing with with our practices as well for ATRs. There is now with the ATR, of course, with our rituals, portals are being open and other things. Ain't no portals getting open, you know, for the frats and sororities that I'm aware of. But even with the process, with the pledging process with the frats and sororities, you're kind of introducing, or the physical potion is being introduced to simulate or stimulate catharsis, right? The same way that spirit already works through ritual. Much like when they talk about in the military, talk about how weakness is pain leaving the body. What's the thing that you introduce, or what's the thing that gets introduced that puts you in a position to have a different perspective? By the way, by no means am I an apologist for anything that people might think is untoward in the process. I'm just giving you what the experience and what really happened. But the catharsis, the transformation, is what we're getting at in that process with the expectation of having something new. So something new, or something that's transformed, so to speak. So if you're at your Q, in Omega, Ife is Howard University. If you're an Alpha, it's Cornell or Howard, depending on how you want to look at it. Indiana University for the noobs. But it all can be tied together philosophically, because ritual in general just has similar components to begin with. No matter what you're doing, there's a certain beginning and a certain outcome, that we're expecting, coming through. Yeah, so that's what I have.